Yeah, Sam, y'all were, I think, through the first 4 weeks leading the country in sacks, and then you hit a little bit of a lull, and it's kind of picked up the last few weeks. Was that just a product of who y'all were playing or personnel available to you, or what do you attribute that to?
I think a little bit of both. I think we were more aggressive early in the year. I think some of our injuries in the secondary might have dictated a little bit during that middle part, and about who we're playing and how their protection is and things. That there's a lot of things that go into that, but I think we were obviously we've been much more aggressive over the last couple of weeks, and it's helped us. And but I think a lot of it goes into your opponent, their wideouts. Do you believe you can press them? Do you believe you can cover them? And if you do that, then you believe you do. You need to get after their. Is he a good quarterback where you'd rather play defense against him, drop 8, things of that nature, or go after him? A lot of things dictating that, but I do think our kids Saturday changed their mindset of going, and I have to be in this gap. I have to make all those type things. And they said, hey, I'm going to go sack the quarterback. And I think that's the one thing that we harped on last week is when you go now, we've got a guy going to spy him up and go to sack him. And I think, that helped a little bit as well.
And I was curious if maybe Quincy McAdoo's emergence there at corner, has maybe contributed that at all. Just the way he's played the last couple of weeks.
Well, ironically, I think as good a defense as we've played over the last 6 quarters, Quincy happens to be the corner out there, so there might be some correlation there. I don't know, but I know since he's been out there all the time, we've played really good defense.
Bob.
Hey, Sam, how you doing? Wanted to ask you some stuff about senior night. It's interesting. You got some guys that have been here 6 years. You got some guys that have been here 6 months that are seniors. Just with the way things are these days, just kind of what are your thoughts about the senior class and senior night?
Well, I'm really, we were able to get to a bowl for most of that group because some of them are new, but most of that group, and hopefully we can do it again this year. And 3 of their last 3 years, assuming they've been here, were with me, and I appreciate it. They took me in, accepted me, fought like heck for us and the program, and changed it. And we still have a long way to go and things of that nature, but I'm really proud of those guys. I will say there'll be some guys out there that I'm going to have a talk with them after the season and try to get them to come back and do it again next year.
Yeah, two senior nights, not a bad thing. You could.
The COVID deal kind of allows that to happen nowadays in that class. So, but there are several that I'm going to talk to and see if we can get them to do it twice. It's not the time to talk to them now until the season's over, but certainly I don't think there's any rule you can't walk twice in senior night. So if there is, they won't walk next time if they elect to come back, but I don't think there's a rule in that.
And some of the guys like Bumper and Dalton, they've been through the really bad years and then they've been through the good years with you. Just what do you think about those guys? Maybe their journey at Arkansas.
It really says, and Dorian Gerald as well. He stayed on. It says something about they just love to play football. And to be honest with you, Dalton has a chance he'll have a chance in the NFL, and Bumper will have a chance, and for them to come back. I don't believe Dalton had a draftable grade last year, but Bumper did. And for him to come back, and I know part of it was for him, maybe to set a tackle record, which he did. But I think a bunch of it was they were having fun. They were enjoying it. They were doing some things that they hadn't been able to do since they got here. And if we can get bowl eligible, they'll be the ones that lead the way to getting that as well, because I know they don't want their career to end in a week from Friday. So I'm really honored to have coached them and really grateful that they elected to come back. College football is hard. I mean, it's hard, and they elected to come back, and I'll always be grateful for them for that.
Yeah, I guess we got one more senior question. I guess Brainy and Dominic are seniors, but they may be some of those guys you want to talk into coming back. But how would you say some of the senior transfers have fit in?
Yeah, I mean, Matt Landers, Brainy,
Right.
JD, Terry Hampton. There's a lot of those guys. I can't right off. I'm looking up here at my board to see if I missed anybody, but those guys came in. Jacob Bates has been very valuable to us, and they came in, and it's like going into a new house or a new family. I mean, it's just different for them. And it took some adjustment for some of them, and some of them came right in and it went easy and well for them. But very, very, I can tell you there's a guy that we got out of the portal. That's kind of who you're talking about here, that we're not happy that we have, and they've done a nice job for us.
Thanks.
Right. Coach, used to be like, I guess maybe 7 years out, but it used to be only seniors that walked on senior day. And I think Perotti maybe did it last year, maybe guys that have graduated and are hanging it up. Anybody that doesn't fit into the traditional category going to be walking?
Hudson Henry's going to walk, but our category is you either have to have exhausted your COVID's kind of messed all that up, Trey. You know what I mean? Because you've got a 6th year, I guess. But our category is if you're going to walk, you had to either exhaust your eligibility, or you have to have graduated. For instance, Burks last year, there's been a lot, it would have been a lot of distraction and things, and he really hadn't made up his mind at that point. Mm-hmm. But he hadn't graduated. He's a 3-year guy, hadn't graduated. So we just do seniors or guys who have graduated that say, hey, I'm going to go ahead and go into the real world.
Has Hudson made any kind of decision on?
I'd probably like for you to ask him that. I'll just tell you this, that he's going to walk. Why don't you trade it? Why don't you ask him? I'd rather it come from him and what he wants to do. But I can tell you he's going to walk senior night.
Okay. KJ, being from Sardis, 30 miles away from Oxford, and the way everything went last game, how much of an extra motivation is for him, and not just him, but the guys around him that want to see him have success?
I think it's a big deal, honestly. You could feel it last year when we went down there. Obviously, my first year, he didn't play, but you could feel it last year that he wanted to play well, and coming from that area, I think there is some motivation, and when he's motivated, everybody is. I think the other thing about that is his last outing, he didn't play well, and to be honest with you, that was a hard one for him. You get a guy who hadn't practiced that's hurt. It's a tough combination. But then he didn't play last week, and those 2 games we've lost, after winning a couple in a row, and so I think he'll play well. I think he'll play very inspired for a lot of reasons, with being the team closest to home being one of them.
Thank you,
Scotty. Yeah, Sam, sorry if this was asked earlier. I had my laptop muted when you started. Just specifically for your defense, just how important might 4th down attempts be, and just kind of understanding that, it might not take just 3 plays to get off the field.
Yeah, I mean, you can even see in a lot of calls that Coach Kiffin makes. I'm sure I don't want to speak for the man, but on film, it looks, hey, let's get it close here. Let's get half of it here on 4th down. And I believe he thinks a lot in let's get it manageable to 4th down. And those are going to be key for us to stop. He's going to do it. That's what he believes in. And So it's going to be big for us. We've talked a lot about first down and talked a lot about fourth down this week. I mean, those are downs that we need to win on defense. And that's very similar of every week, except a lot of times you don't talk a lot about fourth down, except when you're playing him, Coach Leach, from Mississippi State, those guys.
And then after the game last Saturday, Ricky came in and talked to us, had blood all over his pants, looked like his hand was busted up pretty good. Just wondering what you see from him in terms of toughness and just what he's brought to your line this year.
Man, he loves to play, and he's the leader of that group, him and Dalton. They have a lot of fun. Obviously, we got to play better as a unit. Some of those things are taking some pressure off the box and throwing the ball. There's a lot that goes with that as well. But Ricky I love him. He's been tough. He's been reliable. He's been loyal. And to be a 265-pound kid out of high school that probably not a lot of SEC schools recruited, to be where he is today, it's all on him and his work ethic and who he is and his parents. I'm going to miss him. I love him to death, and I think he's a wonderful example of hard work and perseverance and toughness, and that's exactly who he is.
Tom.
Sam, you and Lane came in at the same time. He's got a kind of a unique personality and like a social media presence. What do you think of him and what he adds to the league?
Well, I think it's great. I wish, I wish that I had his, I don't know how to say it, but it seemed to me like he really doesn't care what people think nor say. And if they do say something about him, he'll come back. Part of me wishes I was that way a little bit more, but we've kind of all learned why he's different is because we've kind of all learned the old fashioned way where you ignore everything and you take it, and you're a coach, you're supposed to take it and all that all that kind of stuff, which is, by the way, really weird why we should have to do that. But he doesn't. And honestly, I admire that about him. And he uses wit with it as well and things of that nature. But I think all in all, I think he's just being him and he's having a great time. And I respect that and I respect him.
Yeah, he admitted on Monday that he was cold on Saturday night and like couldn't get it right, but now he's got some kind of sponsorship and he's getting outdoor wear. Would you do something like that? Wear some coils or heated pads?
Well, Lane's built and, he's a good looking man, and I don't think I could add anything more in there and get my pants on, so probably not.
All right. Thanks.
All right, Coach. Appreciate your time. Thanks.
Go Hogs, everybody.